feel like I had my first real weekend as a realtor. I did three open houses, and I think it may have been profitable. I'm going to go through. I actually created some custom thank you cards that I'm picking up today, and I'm going to handwrite a little note on all of them and send them out to them. But there's definitely, I would say, 3 to 4, 6 to 12 month potentials that I got
No.
out of it.
Nice. Way to go, man. Celebration. Huddles are about celebration. We celebrate your successes. So he did, did you say two on Saturday and one on Sunday, right?
Yeah, two on Saturday. Sunday I didn't want to do, but no one else came up for it. So I told Chris, I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and handle that one for you too.
Man,
And actually, after that, I was like, hey, if you want me to show this house again, I'd be more than happy to. It's just, unfortunately, it's an Airbnb and it's like booked up the next 2 months.
yeah. I think that's why he wanted to hit it hard this weekend with open houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Billy, are you able to show your video today? Billy, you there, buddy? I'd love to him to show his video and be here with me today. So I don't know if you guys knew this.
I'm here. I just sorry, was ordering my a tea for this morning.
You already what?
So I was ordering a tea right now for my morning.
Got it, got it. Ordering a tea.
Trying to stay off the coffee.
You guys may not know this, but there's a secret that Billy has that not everyone knows about, that he actually holds a master's degree in psychology. So if you want to know why he's so successful in real estate, that's got to be the reason why. Do you think so? You think mindset stuff is a little more easier for you?
You know, I I feel like yes, and no, because it took me a while to kind of accept this, but going into real estate, you're not literally using your degree, but you're using the skills that you've acquired from the degree, right? Or from, your schooling. And somebody told me that, and I had to really um, kind of accept that because I was like, I'm not using my degree. But then somebody told me, well, you're basically using all your skills, you acquire from the degree.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, what you learned, how to deal with people, how to deal with situations, you know,
Mhm.
sales is a huge mindset thing. Today, guys, today's going to go probably a full 30 minutes, and here's the reason why. It's an important one. It's an important one today. We're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about if I don't do this, and here's the deal. I know I'm stumbling through my words, I apologize, but if I don't talk about this, specifically you guys that are new in the business, you're not going to be prepared for what's getting ready to happen to you. You won't be prepared. So if I don't have this conversation with you, and it's a tough one, it's going to be a tough one. Some of you guys are going to look in the mirror today and say,
Check out this screenshot of my credit score. Just a few months.
hello. But somebody had some feedback there. Somebody started a video or something. Mute yourself if you can, if you're not going to talk up. All right. Because now I totally lost my train of thought. You jacked me up, man. Here we go. Just kidding. So if you're not prepared for what's getting ready to happen to you, then you're going to be a statistic. And I don't want you to be a statistic. I really want you to be the positive side of the statistic, not the negative side. How about that? I want you to be on the positive side of the statistic because it's a serious problem that we have in our industry, but it's a serious problem we have in every industry. So I thought I'd grab Billy and have him jump in here for the psychology side, the mindset that he's gone through to get his master's degree in psychology, and we could see if he could speak up because I will say, out of all the agents I've coached with and known over the years, Billy is one of the easiest people to coach. One of the easiest because he's realized that the fail forward mentality is a real thing. It doesn't it doesn't shake him up. It does shake him up, but it doesn't shake him up as much. He's prepared. If my video keeps freezing, I apologize. Whenever I get text messages, sometimes it goes through my dang computer and it causes things to freeze. Am I freezing or am I clear? We
Kind
good?
of choppy, but you're good now.
Kind of choppy, but we're good now. Okay. Well, hopefully this will stop doing that. All right. Let me try to do one thing real quick, and maybe this will make it even better. close about 50 different things I have on my computer. There we go. That might make me have the best service. All right. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about the path to success because I want you to be successful. But in order to do that, we got to get serious about a problem. All right. And the problem is that when you decided to get your real estate license, there's something that drove you to say, I can do that. I want to do that. I'm doing it. And you made the decision. You pushed forward, you got your license, you did it, got your license. Okay, now that you got your license, it's like this. Probably the best way for me to bring it up is let's use the sports analogy for a second. All right, you're new, you're young, you're maybe in grade school, you're going out to play baseball, you're trying to learn this new thing, you're excited as a young kid, kid in a candy store, and you're excited about going out to play baseball, basketball, football, soccer, whatever it was that was might have been your gig, and you're excited to do it. But what the problem is that you don't know what you don't know yet, right? You don't quite know what you don't know. You know that there's things that you've got to learn and do in the business, but you don't know yet how hard it's going to be and how that coach is going to make you do burpees, make you do not burpees, probably line touches, what do they call them? Suicides. I hate that word, but kind of the line touches and stuff like that. They're going to make you do some work and you're not going to like it, but you're going to learn. But in the beginning, you don't know. And then you start to learn a little bit and you have this aspiration in life or this feeling in life that you want to be a pro at this sport and you're in like grade school. And then you get up there and you realize, oh my gosh, I don't have the talent to do it. And there's a lot of people that leave or that quit right there and they go and do something else. And I was one. I was planning to play college ball. I was all excited. Next thing you know it, I met a girl. It happens. And then next thing you know it, I'm not doing baseball anymore. And my senior year just fell apart. Where I had a really good years all the way up to that, where people were saying I was going to be killer college ball player and all this. I never even went. Just kind of stopped. Things changed. You're as a new agent, right? Or been in the business a little bit, trying to get things going. Maybe the wheels are spinning a little bit and it's not happening yet. When you first got your license, it was a shiny thing and you thought, I can do this. I'm gonna do this. And it happens. And then once you start to do it and you realize, oh my goodness, and you might be that lucky person that got an uncle or an aunt or a grandmother or somebody that said, hey, I know you just got your license. I'm going to be putting our house on the market. We want you to list it. You may have gotten lucky and got one like that, or maybe even two, and and then all of a sudden it stopped. And it's like, now what? And then we realize that I'm not good. I can't step into a listing appointment and automatically nail it every time. Think about when you first rode a bike, right? You got your new bike, you start going through, you get on that, you get the bike, you're excited to get the bike, but then you realize you can't ride it. You got to have training wheels at first. How about your car? You get into your car without even thinking about it. You could be on the phone doing stuff. You can just get in that car and drive. And you don't even realize I put the key in the ignition. I turned the key. I had to put my foot on the brake before I did that. Your body just automatically goes through those motions. Just happens, right? As a real estate agent, you just got your license. You have no idea what you're doing. It's like when you first learned how to drive that car or first learned how to ride that bike. You don't know what you don't know yet. You're figuring it out. The statistics are real statistics. 33% of agents quit in the first year. 87% of agents quit in the first 4 years. That's huge, right? Why is that happening? It's because what you decided to get into is not an easy job. So I watched this video this morning. I shared it with Billy. He skimmed through it and watched it too. And it kind of goes over some things that I've shown you in the past about mindset and how when you first get your real estate license, you're in that unconscious and competent phase where you don't really know what you don't know yet. You're still trying to figure it out. Or maybe you're looking for the get rich quick scheme and you're like, the grass is greener over here, let me run over there. And then that doesn't work either. The grass is here, let me run over there. And that doesn't work either. And you're in this mindset of trying to figure it out. And, all you see is success all around you from all these other agents doing well. And you're like, okay, why is it easy for them and not me? It's it's that unconscious incompetent setting where you don't know what you don't know yet. And the excitement starts to go away. So are you in that first phase right now where it was all exciting. You showed up to the sales meetings, you showed up to the team meetings, you were showing up to this training and that training, everything was going good, but now you're like 2 months into it, maybe 3 months into it, and you haven't had your first closing yet. And Billy, chime in anytime, man. You kind of went over this and you're really good at, the mindset side of things. So feel free to speak up and tell me what you think about these problems you're seeing in brand new agents. Because Billy's our team leader of our California team, and in the beginning, you have a lot of agents that show up, and then all of a sudden, what happens? Is it that first stage of unconscious incompetence that they all of a sudden just stop showing up?
It is. I think what I believe is I was in a similar same role when I came on board, right? Uh, don't know what I don't know. Um, and for me, it was taking, watching you or watching, your leaders at the time and kind of just copying it, right? I think sometimes that we don't really take, how do I say this? We don't, as a new agent, it's hard to accept or to do the things because you guys, as leaders or people who are more seasoned veterans, they do it so easily, right? And with us, it didn't, well, for me too, it didn't come so easily. So when we tell the new agents what success entails and how to get there, it's intimidating. It can be intimidating. It can be a little, we're afraid of failure. We're afraid to fail. We're afraid of rejection. And I think that I think most of the time new agents they're afraid to fail. So that's why it starts with the leadership though. It starts with leadership and the trust in your leadership and taking their word to take their word and to just run with it and implement it.
Mm.
But yeah, I think a big part of it is the afraid the sorry afraid to fail and afraid to do those things, uncomfortable, to be uncomfortable pretty much.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. To be uncomfortable. The unconscious incompetence, I don't know what I don't know. Yeah, that's that excitement. You like it. And that's when the agents start to switch. So what Billy's talking about is they start to switch to that stage two of conscious incompetence, where now I know what I don't know. And you got to get uncomfortable to get past that. And that uncomfortableness is daunting. And that's where we see that 33%. It's usually right there. It's that bubble of unconscious incompetence where they're excited. And then once they see it and you realize, oh my gosh, we're 3 months into this or 2 months into this, and my phone doesn't ring. I'm making some calls. They're sloppy, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to answer these questions they're asking me. I'm not, I thought I knew, but I don't know. Because the real estate courses just are all about, law and, making sure you understand real estate law and all the things that the state wants to protect the consumer about. They don't really teach this side of stuff. If I could if a new agent could see this side of things, that second stage two, where the unconscious incompetence, where I would guarantee you most realtors would never get their license. They would stop right there. That's the truth that I wanted to be honest with you today and say that this is the bubble that every one of you has to go through. You must go through these bubbles, guys. You will. That one agent that just all of a sudden tears off and does really well and closes 20 their first year or 25 or whatever it is, and it just seems to come easy. It didn't come easy. They just realized earlier on, maybe someone had this talk with them and lit a little fire of, look, the type of job you got in is an outbound sales job. You will get uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable. And maybe
Big
they,
hurdle.
what's that?
It's a big hurdle, man.
A big hurdle. You got to
It
jump
really
on.
is. And like you said, I think you forget that when you're going through real estate school, it is about the rules and the laws, and you can learn all the stuff you need to pass your test and get through it. But then you get out there in the field and it's real people in front of you. And it is a it is a challenge to, especially when you come from a previous career and you're going kind of through a reinvention. And
Wow.
it's, man, it's a challenge.
Oh man. Oh, Chris. It
Well,
is
yeah,
so
think about the for the cops in the room, some of us aren't, and but you go through this 6 month of police academy, and when you walk out of there, you think you've accomplished something, and then you go through field training, you get the crud beat out of you, and then you're alone, and you're like, "What did I do?" It's the
Mhm.
scariest thing in the world. It's like that in every industry, you know, and you just gotta power through it, man. Just don't give up. And every cop I've ever known, and I used to tell the young cops this all the time, you're not going to be worth a darn to me until you've done this 3 years.
Oh,
It's the truth.
Yeah.
It takes you that long of struggling to get through the challenges you face and the not knowing what you don't know and the fear of everything that's being thrown at. It's like drinking water through a fire hose, right?
oh
It's
yeah.
a lot,
It is
and
so
it's a skill
different.
set that has to be developed over time, and there's got to be trials and errors.
Mm,
and and it takes, and I'm in my third year and I still have questions, right?
mm,
I've had quite a few deals and I still have questions, right?
I
That's
mean,
I,
thankfully
I,
we've
I
you got
got
to
good,
accept it.
we got good leadership and coaching around here because, it's a little different because coming from the W-2 world and a very organized, like I worked for a large corporation that was like, you're going to be here at this time. This is what we're going to do today. This is what's down. This is what we need to get up. And you kind of got to that point where you went through the same thing, but you had people there to kind of hold your hand and go, this is how we do it. Because there was procedures and there was processes established. And this is really, there's things that we know we can do, but it's not step one, step two, step three, step four, you're going to get it done. There is so much gray area in between all that black and white that it's just a different process it's so much internal that you're dealing with instead of the external.
mm.
so
I,
Chris, you
I,
brought up a good point, right? You brought up the hurdles, right? So I think a lot of the times too, and this is kind of going back to what we are talking about, Sean, at the beginning of this career, is you have to have those internal discussions with yourself and possibly with your leader, and you have to determine what is important to you and why you're doing this, right? Because if you're just doing this like, I'm just trying to make a quick buck, and I don't care, you're not, those hurdles are not going to mean anything to you if you're not, jumping over them. So you need to have that internal discussion of why you're doing it, because when there's more meaning to what you're doing, you're gonna fight through those obstacles, you're gonna jump those hurdles, you're gonna find ways, you're gonna go to people, you're gonna go to the leadership, you're going to find any way to be successful, right?
Mm. You're gonna find it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look
Yep.
at any successful person, what you have to realize is that if you're looking at wherever you are in your career, they went through that already. They've already had
Right.
to do all that stuff, right? I mean, and it's easy to look at success and be discouraged because, man, I don't think I'm ever going to get there. Well, they probably had that same question at some point in their career also.
They did, and that's the important part of this hard conversation right now is that you must go through those bubbles. You must go through those 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 places. You have to. You got to
Have
prepare.
to fail forward, right? I mean, I understand that you got to fail forward,
You got to
but
prepare.
it's still there's that innate thing in us where you've got to go and sometimes just put yourself out there, and sometimes you're going to fall flat on your face and you got to get back up. But it's hard to let yourself fall flat on your face and then get back up and be like, all right, well, I had to learn through that. It's easy to know what we have to do and how we have to navigate this. It
Mm.
is a challenge to let yourself fail, knowing it's going to take you a step forward.
Oh man, that jumps into the stage three though. That's that conscious competence. That's where you start to see the results. But if, like Chris said, if you don't get past those, you can't just expect that I'm gonna all of a sudden be successful, and I'm not gonna have to go through those stages. I'm not gonna have to go through that time when I want to quit and push myself through it. You've got to realize that if that happened, I would feel really scared for your career because you're probably gonna hit that crash later. You're gonna, because I know a lot of agents that do this right now. I wish if I could say the names out loud, I'm thinking them all in my head right now. We're right now in a economy that we're in right now, what we're dealing with right now, those agents are right now backwards because it came easy early. And they were just, their phone was just ringing because it was the market they were in. They joined the right time. I joined during the crash of 2008. And I was dealing with what we're dealing with right now, with what you agents that are starting right now are dealing with, where I had to be like, okay, I had to learn right away. I have to have these conversations every week, and they're difficult. And you don't want to do it because you feel like you're bothering these people, but they have to be proactive conversations that you have to consistently do. Now, in a really good market, if you started during that time, you may have skipped these steps, but it's going to hit you eventually. They're hitting them right now. Like I said, I can name several of them that have nothing under contract, that are don't have no pipeline going on because they didn't learn how to create a pipeline because they skipped those steps, the first two most difficult steps when someone wants to quit. The conscious competence is now you're seeing it now, and you've actually seen a little bit of result. You've gotten a couple of them. You realize that it was painful to get you there, but this is where you're starting to see the results happening now. You're starting to see it. It's not easy though to get there because now you got to realize, shoot, I've got to keep this level up, and I'm starting to understand my words. I can now go into maybe a listing appointment and have a chance at getting the listing, if not secure it. But it was stumbling through it a little bit. I'm still learning. I'm never not learning. I'm still learning, but I'm stumbling through it. I haven't mastered it yet because that's the next one is the unconscious competence. That's where, well, first, before I get the unconscious competence, what Chris said earlier, Billy said earlier, Wes said earlier, you guys, thank you for speaking up. It reminded me of when I was learning to fly. And I had about 10 hours under my belt. And out of those 10 hours, I soloed at 10. That was the scariest day that I think I've ever had in my life, but it was exciting at the same time to do it because now I no longer had that 1,500-hour pilot sitting next to me that's done 300, 400, 500, 800 landings in their career. And I had maybe, I don't know, okay, probably more than that, thousands of landings in their career. And I might have had 200 or 300 landings, maybe not even that many. And so then I go up there and I'm supposed to do it myself without the training wheels. They're gone. That's that when your dad or your mom pushed you off without on your bike for the first time without the training wheels. It was scary. Well, that's what it was like soloing. And that's what it's like to be in the conscious competence stage is now you can do it. You're powerful enough to get yourself into trouble. You can get into trouble now. But unconscious competence is when you get in your car that we talked about earlier, and you can just go with driving. You don't even realize you put the brake on. You don't realize you put the key in, turn the key, you put it in gear, you backed out of the driveway, and you took off down the street. And you don't even realize you used the blinker on every corner because you're probably on the phone, because you're a realtor. You shouldn't be on the phone, but you are, and you're able to turn the blinker on when you're supposed to. You're able to look both ways. It's unconscious competence. But in order to get there, you got to go through a bad road. And that's the fourth stage. The one stage that didn't get mentioned, this was a training I went through and passed on to Billy this morning, was stage number 5, and that's the mastery. That's when you can start to teach it now. Does that mean you've learned it all? Heck no. So I want you all to prepare, though, that this is a serious matter because I'm tired of seeing agents quit. And that's why I don't get paid to do this. I don't. I just want to see you succeed so bad and not quit during stage 1 or 2. I don't want you to be a bad statistic. I want you to be a positive statistic. Knowing that unconscious incompetence is where you started, conscious competence is when you start to get past the test. That's when you quit. Conscious competence is where I want you at or more. That's when you can go into a listing appointment, bam, you just do it and you nail it. You have that much confidence. Now that's going to take you, I mean, that could take you 4 years, could take you 5 years to get to that point. So just know you started a career that is not going to happen overnight. Now, it can happen quicker if you continue to do one important thing that Billy talked about in the beginning. That's get uncomfortable a lot. And Chris talked about this, failing forward a lot. You have to fall on your face, guys. This is not an easy job, but it's not a hard job. It does require you to get uncomfortable, and it's okay. We're here to get you out of trouble. I had an agent do an open house this weekend, and he's a rock star. I love him to death. Amazing agent. And Wes was there too. And I may have said this to Wes too. Guys, don't be afraid to not let them in the house. Is that a fail? What if they walk away because they won't give you the contact information for their agent, or they won't give you their contact information? You can be that strict and say, I'm sorry, we have a table outside of the door. Once we have your contact information here, we can let you in the door. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. That is what you should be doing. But some people are just so scared, and they just let them walk around the house and walk all over you and never give you the information they walk out the door. What did you lose?
I
You,
have struggled with that.
you
I've
lost.
struggled with that on the forced signing. That's something I know that's a hurdle I have to get over.
Just think about
That's fair for you to say that, to not be afraid if they turn around and say, well, then I won't come look at the house. Well, then that's fine.
what were you
Then
going to get anyway, right?
nothing, nothing.
Exactly.
They probably weren't serious to begin with. That's how I see it.
Exactly. We're not here to, we're here to meet more window shoppers. Yeah. So if you learn how to use your words to in a way to capture that information in a positive, loving, giving, friendship way, then that's going to go a long way. But fail forward, get uncomfortable first, get a little stern, understand that, hey, if they walk through and they walk all over you and walk out and not get your information anyway, did you waste any time? No, you saved time. When you could have sat there and probably done 2 or 3 or 5 more phone calls sitting in your open house, positive outbound phone calls during that time versus wasting your time letting them walk through the house and then walk out the door. Here's an important thing for me as a listing agent is that I need the agent information because I got to follow up with those agents to get the information. So when you do an open house and you don't at least get the agent information, that side should be easy. If they say they have an agent, okay, I need to know your agent's name because you're going to find out they met their agent on Zillow and they don't know the agent's name. They haven't signed a buyer agency agreement. They do want to buy. If you don't ask that question though and say, okay, I need your agent's information before I walk you through, it's a rule because technically you're under the umbrella of that agent if you signed a buyer agency agreement. So can I get that agent information? That's how my brain works. The unconscious competence is I just automatically think, okay, that's what I'm going to say. And if your brain isn't thinking that fast, that's okay. The only way it's going to start thinking that fast is if you get crazy uncomfortable faster.
Sean, I had an open house yesterday and I met a lot of people and we really connected. And then they signed in the sheet and most of them wrote that they had an agent. But I didn't ask who the agent was. Should I then connect with them today and then just follow up maybe a phone call and say, hey, can I get your agent's information? Okay.
Yes. Now, here's one thing that my suggestion is look at that list when they sign in and say, oh, I see you got an agent. Excellent. What's your agent's name? I need to have that right here because technically you fall under the umbrella of that agent if you've signed a buyer agency agreement with them. See how I just said that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm verifying they have a buyer agency agreement before I walk them through this house and get the agent's information before they take off. That way, you can give that to the listing agent, or if you are the listing agent, you can follow up that agent, see if you can get an offer on this property. I mean, our whole goal is contacts made, contacts made, contacts made. So, or if you're the listing agent, you want to get it sold. So how can you follow up if you didn't get the information? How can the agent that is doing the listing follow up if you didn't get the information? So
I could see it being a good thing putting agent's name right underneath it. So if they have an agent, they can write in their agent's name. So my thought with this, because there was a lot of people who had agents, they said they had agents. That's why I'm doing the thank you cards. Hey, thank you for coming out and looking at the listings. I really appreciate it. I'll throw my business card in there also, just in case their agent wants to connect for the house. But it puts the information out there. The other thing I found to be successful, like some people, they wrote their phone numbers, but they didn't put their emails, or they're limited. And so I started talking to them about resources I could provide. And the big thing for me is I'm really focusing on our hero. So, hey, what job industry are you in? And if they're teaching healthcare or whatever, oh, I understand you're working with a lender, but I'm doing this because I want to help people. It's not about the money. I truly want to help. So I'll shoot you an email. I'm going to introduce you to a lender who works with, who's got a great program for heroes. And yeah, can give that information to your lender so you can get the best deal. And then all of a sudden they started talking to me a little bit more. Oh, really? You have that? Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, and then kind of gets their wheels turning of, well, how come my agent didn't try to provide me with this information? So I'm just trying to be a resource for them. And so I've got one guy that came in, he's like, yeah, I know there's stuff I need to do for my house. I don't know if I'm quite ready. Well, write down your information. I've got a preferred vendor list. I'd love to send you information, help. Oh, really? And his eyes got really big. So I'm finding if you are a resource to them, that gets them more engaging.
As the realtor, we become that. We become the go-to. They need to be always coming to you if they need a plumber, contractor. Now you're the catch-all. But what you said was, hey, it was great. One twist on that. Also, how about this? I see houses all day long. Why don't I swing by? Do you have time today at 5 o'clock? And I'll take a look at your house and I'll give you some pointers of things I would suggest you do to get it ready. We may think in our mind that we're saying something that's going to be like, oh, they're going to be like, no, now you're trying to sell me something. But you are fully wrong, people. That's not the case. They're going to look at that as a huge value proposition. Oh, really? You could do that? Yeah. And I also have this huge vendor list. I'll share it with you because I've vetted a lot of these. Some of them I haven't, but most of them I've used. And so I always like to give them to people as a suggestion. Think about this. If they don't know, they have to Google this to get it. But if their realtor is the catch-all to give it to them, they don't have to go hunt for it anymore. You vetted them, you've used them. They want a referral from you. So good, Paul. So good.
You know, Sean, going back to I'm sorry, I don't know how much time we have here, but going back to the being uncomfortable, and we're saying that, eventually becomes like getting in your car and just driving. You don't think about it anymore. Um, there's so many times with new agents that we talk about being uncomfortable and, trusting the process. But I promise you that it becomes so routine that when I cold call and somebody hangs up on me, it doesn't bother me because I don't know that person. I'm never going to see that person. It's nothing personal. I'm never going to see that person again or talk to that person. Maybe I'll talk to them again, but I'm never going to see that person, in front of me. So you have to get to that point where you are uncomfortable and those things just become routine. Me and Wes have talked about this a lot, being teammates. I do this a lot with recruitment as well. Um, I kind of go over steps of what it takes to be successful and what we offer as a team, what we offer as a brokerage. And what I learned is a lot of these people don't do the things that it takes to be successful, whether they're lacking it at their brokerage or their leadership or whatever level, they're lacking it. And it does. That's the biggest thing I think I can tell people when I'm recruiting and coaching is it is going to become routine. You just keep doing it over and over and over. And you're right, you're going to fail, or it's going to feel like failure. But and I'll be honest with you, I don't really even think of failure as, oh man, get down on myself when I failed. It's kind of the one of those things is it's failure, but you can't have success if it's not if you're not learning. So I always take it as a learning process. You know what? They hung up on me really fast this time. What can I do next time to kind of hook them back in, not end the conversation at this, or sometimes I've ended the conversation really fast and I go back, I'm like, man, I should have said this or that. So the next call I do is, I'm learning from the previous one. So that's the thing. We have to learn to get uncomfortable and just, it'll become routine. It will become routine. I promise.
Totally. And I'll leave you with this, okay? So if you want to get to the end result faster, think about winning the lottery. You win the lottery, they typically blow it all in the first year. They didn't work for it, right? They blow it all in the first year. Or if they go out and happen to buy cars and houses and all this stuff, within that first year, they're now selling stuff because they spent all the money. And then by the end of that second year, not even that far, probably a year and a half, everything's sold. They're right back to where they were. That's a real typical problem. So you can't just expect to get to the end result. You can't just expect to just have all this without getting uncomfortable and making mistakes. Get better and better and better and better. So start there, guys. Just realize, don't quit, because usually when you quit was right before you were ready to take off. You were so close. And then you went and took another job, and then you started putting it. I've coached agents over and over again, and that's why I like to have this conversation with you guys up front. Let's get it done. Let's get you ready, get you understanding the processes, because I don't know how many coaching clients I got them so close, and then they took another job instead of working the job they have at a higher level and failing more, faster, quicker, daily, 5 days a week minimum, sometimes six, like Paul did 7 days this week. So every day, at minimum 5 days a week, you got to fail. Look for a way to fail. Look for a way to get a hang up on. Look for a way to get the door shut on you. Look for a way to do something, because that means you're failing forward. And each time you're going to change your words up. You don't go looking for a quick get rich quick item that's going to help your business take off. It's not going to happen. You will not find it. I'm sorry. But you gotta like fail forward on these simple tasks that we're trying to teach you how to go through so that you can get better in your words. You start to portray better, your thought patterns change, your mindset changes. All of a sudden, next thing you know it becomes a way of life for you. I always say real estate is a lot like farming when I was a farmer. Didn't matter what time of the day I had to go change the water. It could be midnight. It's just a way of life. It could be midnight on a Sunday or Saturday, and here everyone's going out and doing their thing and having fun with their families and stuff. And here I'm out changing water or pruning or picking the fruit on a Sunday. If that's when the fruit's ready, that's when I'm picking. It's just a way of life. Farming is just a way of life. You ask each farmer, and that's what it is. Real estate is no different. It's just a way of life. You become the job becomes you, you become the job. You get known as the realtor. But it doesn't just happen. There's some pain you're gonna have to go through to do it. And you're gonna get better and better and better. And then just when you're thinking of quitting, all of a sudden, bam, it blows open.
I got a quick question for you, Sean.
Okay, shoot, and
Um,
get this off.
on sign-ins, do you ever recommend using digital sign-ins where they scan like a Q? Okay.
Yeah, KV Core, excellent sign-in sheet. Commissions Inc., excellent sign-in sheet. Most CRMs have a sign-in sheet, an app that almost every one does have an app that goes in open house sign-in sheet. I use mine. I've been using the KV Core one, but in our meeting we had last week in Idaho, we went over Commissions Inc. and their open house sign-in sheet app. But I've always used my iPad. So if before I had the internet on the iPad, I would tether it to my cell phone, and it's a beautiful looking thing, and they can just sign in right there. Some
Okay.
use QR codes, like you said, but that's a little more difficult. So I'll have it, and as they walk in, I hand it to them. I say,
So
"Hey,
it's so KV Core's just got an app, so they would sign in right there on the app.
right there," and it throws them right in your
It's called,
CRM.
it's called KB. It's called Bull Trail now, but it's called Open House. It's an app, and
Okay.
it's pretty easy to download and pretty easy to use.
Very
With
cool. That
seconds.
just seems like it's, yeah, at least you're not having to interpret somebody's chicken scratches at the end of it.
It's true. Yeah. And it throws it right in your CRM, and you can actually create a tag too. Most CRMs do this, guys. You just got to like uh, read the instruction manual. And that's a big thing too. Are you training every day? Are you getting into the quick start side of your CRM? That doesn't happen in the morning. Can't happen between 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock, but say 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's time to get into the instruction manual of your CRM and straighten your CRM up. Get it working good for you. Learn how to do these things. You've got to have a time in your schedule to do that. You're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. Not everybody's made to be an entrepreneur. I'm sorry. But we're all made, I'd love to say it. I'll throw my godliness in there. I love the Lord. We're all made in the Lord's image, that He wants us to love each other and work with other people. So you have a great industry you're in right here where you get to meet people. You may not be a natural salesman, but you do need to, if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur in this business, you do have to set a daily schedule, a daily time card to work. You've got to have a time card and fail forward throughout the way. But at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is a perfect time for you to get in there and learn how to use your CRM. Learn all the things your CRM will do. And I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away. That thing will do everything. And you're hands off after a while, and you're just clicking a few buttons and adding a few hashtags to your open house CRM, and it automatically throws them into that CRM for you. It's genius technology. Scary. Have a good week, everyone. Go get it. Get uncomfortable every day starting today. Don't let today be a waste.
Is the Wednesday huddle not happening?
Wednesday coaching call will not happen. I'll be an Inman Connect.
Okay, cool.
All right,
Cool, cool.
guys.
Have
Those of
fun.
you not going, if you still want to go, there's still some tickets available. They're $1,600, but we have a few available at $750 if you guys want to go. Let me know. Have
Very
a good
cool.
week, everyone.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Thanks.
Wait, guys.